Look at this, proper carp fishing, is it not? Welcome to Carp Arena. We are in northern Belgium. We're only an hour from Calais, and this is a complex of 4 fishing lakes and a couple of stock ponds that we are taking on for Embryo Europe. I'm at Clovermere with Tom Stokes. There are some massive fish in here, over 60 pounds. It is very, very weedy, but it looks more than on at the moment. We've been out in the boats, we've seen fish smoking it up. He's at one end of the lake, I'm at the other. Matt Pettit is here that runs Embryo UK. My mate Chris is here as well, fishing one of the other lakes on site. And we're here to test fish, see what's in here, but it is looking very, very promising. Because it's only an hour or so from Calais, we left later but still arrived mid-afternoon. The short journey really is a godsend. We were greeted by Big Dave and his even bigger Dutch barbecue. The meat and salads were perfect man food and it was easy to get carried away. But the rods had to go out, so we got some grub downers. Cheers, mate. And cracked on.
Well, that's it. First rod is out.
Oh, a bit out of practice with this boat lark. 2 rods are out good. One into the corner over there. I've kept well away from the trees, probably 10 yards off the trees. And then the other rod's about 15 yards left of it, I guess. Again, just over the back of the weed, as far away from the far margin as I can get away with. And this guy is going out off the tip of that island out there. There's an H-block that I've just put in the trees in strategic places, not in the water, just tangled around the trees. So there's nothing in the water I can get snagged up on. But we are losing the light. It's always like this on the first day. Don't matter what time you leave England, you're always rushing to get the rods out before it gets dark. So this one's going out there now. It's going to be fun and games if I do get a bite, because going out there in the dark, I've got sub-braid on with a fluorocarbon leader, and the sub-braid is on the surface because the weed is on the surface. How I'm going to negotiate my way out there without picking the other lines up, I do not know, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Can't use the motor because it's so weedy up to the surface. Much better off rowing. Look at this. This is proper carp fishing, is it not? What a scene. Well, that is a palaver, but it's done. I'm confident. There was fish out there earlier on, they were smoking it up. My rods are well spread. I'm sort of just hedging my bets at the moment really. I'm sure one area will present itself as being the best area for fish traffic, but for now, they are out. It really wouldn't surprise me if we get a bite tonight. Cue the frogs.
Right, so that's the 3rd rod out there. Now as for spots, I've decided to put 2 on the far margin. Middle rod is towards the sort of channel at the back of the island. So that little island separates me and Dan. So I've just dropped 1 underneath the canopy. This left-hand rod is on a spot that the lake owner actually told me about. That's a known banker spot, which is towards that snaggy tree on the far bank. Not actually seeing anything there, but you know, a bit of sort of local knowledge is never a bad thing, is it? And the 3rd rod is just out in the middle of the pond in a sort of bivvy-sized hole in the weed. It's a bit of a guessing game, to be honest. It's the first night. We weren't here this morning, but I'm happy with the spots for tonight. We can always change them. Just got a couple of handfuls of tiger nuts, a couple of handfuls of boilies over each one, so not too much bait if I do decide to move the rods. So yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens tonight, but not gonna lie, I am pretty buzzing. There's some flipping cool carp in this lake. So yeah, hopefully we can catch a couple. Come on, the carp.
Well, good morning. Got a few hours kip, unfortunately, which means no carpers yet. I'm actually a bit scared for the first bite because the fish are spawned, they're going to be full of energy, not lots of weight, they're going to be fast, and with braid on I think it can be quite hairy. It absolutely hammered down last night. The air is definitely cooler today. Stokesy, as far as I'm aware, has not had anything either. But it is our first night on a new lake, you've got to remember that. I think I've got mega rigs out there. I think my baiting's good. It's a new lake and it takes a little bit of time to learn.
But that little bit of time didn't last long. I'd barely finished my brew and I was into my first bite.
All the boys have told me from the European team, wait for it to lock up in the weed and then go out and get it. And this is still moving at the moment. Might even be landing this from the bank, you know. This is still moving. You don't see any point going out in a boat. Obviously, there's a lot of pressure on the hook with all this weed on the line. Right, they're starting to lock up. I don't even know if there's one on here. Oh, there is. There is one on. It's good, it's not full all the way in. Now I've got it on 10-foot line under the rod tip in a weed bed. Oh, come on, matey. Come on. Right, mate, calm down. Yes, he swam in the net. We've got him. That was a John Wilson laugh, wasn't it? We've got one. Our first clover carp. And 87 tonne of weed.
It was a good squat when you netted that.
Was it?
Strong squat poses aside, no sooner was that first one in the net and I was into my second.
Right, well this is what we expected. Rip roaring take, bosh! Rip roaring take, and it's weeded me up solid. So I've got time now. Our cameraman's giving us a hand to get the fish in. Oh, it's started to come. Started to come. But this one, I am, rather than dragging it through all this weed, I'm going to go out there. Oh, don't want to lose it. Just wind myself out to the fish. Textbook styley. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Carparina is but a dream. It's good here.
Well, it's been an eventful morning, but unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons, I've managed to lose the mic pack. It was in my pocket, now it's not. I've turned the bivvy upside down, been through every bag, been through my bed. Oh, what's it come to? And I haven't got a clue where it's gone. Bivvy's empty. Where's the flipping mic pack? Didn't get very much sleep last night because the fish were jumping all night. I was getting the odd liner. Every time the rods bleeped, I was on edge looking at the rods. I had an occurrence on the left-hander this morning. That's when I believe I lost the mic pack. That's the only rod that I've actually seen carp jump over as well. And the bobbin had dropped back slightly, so I'm not even sure if that's actually fishing now. I'm thinking the line's just bedded down a bit more in the weed. A lot of the weeds dropped throughout the night, so that could be why the bobbins dropped, but I don't know. I dare not redo it now because we're in bite time. Mate, something ain't right. Why I caught one? I've had liners on every rod. But yeah, other than that, on a brighter note, Dan has just caught 2. He literally got one in the net, which he reckons is a 20-pounder, and no sooner was that in the net, he had another bite, which he reckons is a 40-pounder.
Textbook, mate. Hey? 20 and 40. Both mirrors.
So that is a brilliant start on Dan's part. No excuses from this swim. There's plenty of carp here. I just haven't caught any.
And there he is, my first ever Carparina carp. 25.5 pounds. Look at the shoulders on it. In a year's time, I bet this is 35, 38 pound. But for now, I am very, very happy. And back you go to get bigger. Yes. Let's have a look at a 40-pounder. Yes, 40 pounds one. Get in there. My first Carparina 40. I'm sure it'll be the first of many. And here he is, the 40-pounder. Proper Belgium greyness. I bet this was 44, 45 pound before they spawned. And this is not a big one for this lake. There's 25, over 25 kilos in here at the right time of year. Oh, but this is what we come to Belgium for. Look at that. Proper beastie. Yeah. Oh, little kissy. Mwah. And off you go. Back to Clover.
I feel like there's still a chance this morning. I mean, what's the time? It's about 8:30, 9 o'clock now. And the carp are still active. They're still jumping, still getting the odd liner. Yeah, still a chance, I reckon, but that chance is slipping away. We'll catch him. Loads of time yet.
What's it going to be, an omelette?
No, scrambled egg.
Scrambled egg. What do you reckon Tom's having now for breakfast?
What do I reckon Tom's having? I reckon Tom's having a really nice, sumptuous portion of fresh air. Probably a cup of tea, and that's about it.
So here's my meat salad. Here's my French stick.
Say it faster.
French stick.
Tiny bit more pepper over the top. Bosh. Done. There you go. How about that?
Amazing.
Oh. Right, get it down, you boy.
Right, lovely, thanks.
Well, we've had a bite. It's quite late in the morning now, it's about 10 o'clock. I just put my head down to have a little snooze, and the middle rod is away. Right. What's that line?
Stokesy is out in the boat. I can see him winding. I reckon he's in. Well, it looks like he's just lost it. Even superheroes have disasters from time to time. I'm gutted for him. He doesn't take it well, Stokesy, at all.
Oh, how did it come off? Look at the size of that hook.
I remember he lost one at a Dutch lake that he was test fishing for us, and I had him on the phone for about 10 minutes afterward. He said it was the worst loss of his life.
That is painful.
So let's hope it was a small one and he saw it.
Mate, that was a massive fish.
But he'll get more, he's Tom Stokes.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. What are we gonna do? Don't even know what bait to put in the end. I mean, I suppose I might as well put Tigers back on. Worked once, why wouldn't it work again? So I've had an idea. Being as I can't make my mind up as to whether to put the tiger nuts back out there or a boilie, I'm going to put one of each on. I'm going to have a little boilie tiger nut snowman. That way we got the best of both worlds. Yeah, it went out alright. Literally just put a couple of handfuls of bait over it. There could be a chance of another one today, maybe. Next one is going to be another big one, and we're going to land it. Got to think positive.
His positive thinking must have paid off as Stokesy was into another.
I don't know what's happened. I literally just looked round, having just put that rod out, put the bobbin back on, turned around to sort the boat out, and the right hand rod has just hooped round. I don't even know what has happened there. Like, there was definitely something on the end. Rod was hooped round. I could feel a fish on the end, whether it was a tench or a carp, I ain't sure. I don't know what is going on today. I don't know what is going on. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate. Just chucks the rod at me. Thought you was going to catch me a fish. Oh mate, we're having dramas here. It's hot, it's humid. We're blanking. Lost the mic. It's not going to plan, is it, mate?
It wasn't just Clover that was doing the bites. Matt Pettit, fishing on one of the two new lakes called Lily Pool, had landed one of the lake's best commons, spawned out at just under 40 pounds. Matt and I left Stokesy holding the fort while we visited some very exciting opportunities for Embryo Europe. And in our absence, the heavens opened.
Might have to get the lucky out. Thought I'd save it for a rainy day. The kettle just ain't doing it, like. I think the hat's gonna have to come out as well. Right, so we're just going into the second evening. All the rods are out now, and as you can see, it has finally stopped raining. We have had some serious rain today. It has been torrential. That's the only thing I can say. I've never known rain like it. In fact, I've got a spare boat sat on the bank here, and it must have at least 6 inches of water in it. That is how much rain we've had today. But it's finally stopped. So I've now got an 18mm link boilie, tipped with a tiger knot on all 3 rods. Got the best of both worlds there, so if they fancy a boilie or they fancy a tiger knot, it's all there. I feel like I've got the 3 best options for tonight. Yeah, feeling pretty confident. Hopefully tomorrow will be the day that I catch my first Belgian carp. Fingers crossed.
Well, it's been a very, very long day again. This is the effort that goes into embryo. We've been looking at fish farms today. It's very exciting for the future of Embryo Europe. I've been out in the boat and baited up, and I'm not going to fish tonight. I'm so tired. I'm going to get a rig sorted for the morning, and we're going to get up really early and put them out first thing, because the bites came at 7 o'clock this morning. We're going to basically just tidy up camp, get some fresh hooks on, and see you in the morning.
See if he's just kited straight in there, man. It's so weird. Come on, you. I got him. I got him. Got him. Got him. Hey. That is actually a nice carp. Well, we got one. Well, there he is. My first Belgian carp. Just under 38 pounds and a mega scaly one too. Super pleased with him. The bite came just after midnight and it's very warm at the minute. These fish have recently spawned, so the last thing we want to do is keep them all night. So we're going to get a few quick pictures and get him back. But as I say, I am super pleased with him. Glad to finally get one after that loss this morning. Happy days. Cheers, mate. There's got to be something in the boilies, because we've had 3 bites this morning, 3 different spots. Oh my God, nearly pulled me back out into the lake. Whereas yesterday morning, I struggled to catch anything. Obviously I did get that 1 bite in the end. And funnily enough, that's the 1 rod that hasn't gone this morning. We caught 1 off the open water rod that they showed over all day yesterday. Decent sized fish, isn't it? I bet that's 35 pounds or 34. Did have a weird occurrence late in the morning, but I'm not convinced it was a bite. We've caught 1 from down that margin, right hand margin, plus the 1 last night. And then I've moved that rod because both fish I've had off that spot have managed to snag me up. So rather than keep potentially getting snagged up, I decided to move the rod back to the spot I was fishing the first night. And it's only been out there 2 hours maximum. And now we've got 1 off that spot as well. I mean, I love a tiger nut more than, you know, as much as anybody. They're a great bait in the summer, but if they want boilies, they want boilies.
Rods are out. It's a beautiful morning here on Clovermere. It's just gone 6 now. Bite time yesterday was sort of between 7 and 8. Might be a little bit late because I've been out in the boat. That rod's gone out sweet. The rod out by the island's gone out sweet. I just put a few baits out because I put so much bait out yesterday. I've just put a few baits out to scare anything away that might already be there, and then drop the rig in. It's a nice firm thud on the bottom. It's sort of clay all over the bottom on this lake, and if you find a clear bit where there's no weed, you know, it's a good drop on the bottom. Clipping on a back lead about 2-3 rod lengths back from it, so at least that fluorocarbon leader's on the bottom. Then the 3rd rod, Grand Luxury, I'm casting. I've just put a single out there today. I haven't put any bait on it at all. It's 18 1/3 wraps. It's a lovely drop. 3.5 ounce lead on a lead clip. The same rig, size 2 Longshank X, and just a drilled out 18 miller. Just with a little bit of cork in the top, so it sits round the same way every single time. And then Longshank X is coupled with that anti-tangle sleeve. and a reasonably heavy lead. That is a spiteful setup, so I'm expecting that one to go. I reckon the next few hours we've got a good chance of a bite or two. The rods are well spread, so one bite won't affect the other rods, and we'll see what happens. But for now, it is a proper idyllic morning. It's a carpy lake. It looks so cool out there. I think people are going to love it. Well, as if by magic, life jacket is on. This is when you're fishing in these swims as a pair, you're going to be helping each other. I mean, I've got Tom behind the camera helping me. Now, if you're fishing on your own, you'd have to be almost living with the life jacket on. But this fish, like the last one I caught from out on this rod, is just plodding away on the top, just sort of coming in. Although this weed's up to the surface, it's very thin. The big problem we've got is there's a ton of weed close in here, just under the rod tips, and it's not ideal for netting one. Carefully just pulled myself out to the fish. Oh, yes, he's in. Right, moment of truth. Looks like a mid-30 to me. Yeah, 34. Bang on. Get in there. Oh. And here he is, another lovely grey Belgian mirror. 34 pounds this one. And yeah, came only 20 minutes after putting them out. The sun's up high now, and it doesn't look like we're going to get any more bites this morning, so I'm definitely going to fish tonight. I'm not resting it anymore. And all this is coming on 20mm bottom baits drilled out with a bit of 8mm cork in them, so they're not wafters. They're sitting against the lake bed, but there's just enough buoyancy so they sit back the same way every time if they get ejected. But this bite came so quickly, I'm sure that rig nailed him straight away. Go.
Oh. Oh. He's only giving it a second bosh on the bank. Must be a good one.
Look at that heart-shaped tail. Right, my cameraman said 36, I said 34. We are both wrong, and in a good way. 38.8. Get in there. What a carp it is as well. This is 110% my kind of carp. Look at it, covered in scratches, tiny little fins all withered away. Just deep-bodied, thick wrist of the tail, big shoulders. That is just the perfect carp as far as I'm concerned. Look at that, I am so pleased to make its acquaintance. 38.5 pounds. What a beast. I love Belgium. Mwah. Now seems like an ideal opportunity to talk about the technology that is landing all of these fish. Obviously the situation at the moment is extreme. The weed is up to the surface. We've got braid on as well. Big fish in reasonably shallow water with lots of weed can be very problematic. But first of all, a cog lead. This is really, really important. COG stands for centre of gravity. So you are picking the lead up from the middle of the lead instantly. If you're using a boat anywhere and you're dropping it down onto hard lake beds, there is nothing that will hook the fish faster than a cog. I am dumping the lead in this situation, and I've changed the system a little bit to incorporate an anti-tangle sleeve. This is one of the things we've learned from underwater this spring, an anti-tangle sleeve that pushes the hook link out in front of the lead every single time. Not only does it stop tangles, it means the rig is out prone and ready to prick the flesh straight away. The worst thing that can happen, we've seen this in underwater with any rig, is the hook link folds back and ends up back up the line, because the fish can suck it in, move towards the lead, not feel anything, and blow it back out again. In this situation, the fish is hitting the lead almost instantly every time, and the fish have been absolutely nailed. I've basically got 25-pound boom on there, just long enough, with a big bit of putty in the middle. I'm using a medium sinker first on the hook link to mould the putty around, then a big bit of putty. That's in the right position because it's holding the hook link against the lake bed. I don't want anything looping up, and because that lead basically standing up off the bottom a little bit, the way that the hook link is attached there, it's above the lead. If you didn't have that putty on, the hook link could loop up. At the other end, I've got a PTFE spinner swivel with no ring on it whatsoever to reduce the weight. You want the eye of the hook to be as light as possible and the point of the hook to be as heavy as possible. So I've got a D-rig kicker on a size 2 Longshank X. That is a really strong, really sharp hook and not sharpened. This is really, really important. In these situations, big fish, you know, that are old, you know, you're fighting them over a long distance with braid in weed. If you've got a sharpened hook on, you can end up tearing out of the fish. So I would use a normal wide gape, a normal Longshank X, a Curve X, a thicker wire hook that stays in better. You don't want fine wire sharpened hooks in this situation. You'll end up losing virtually everything. And I finish that off with a D-rig kicker, the extra long version. I find having the bait and the hook separate, so it's not sliding up and down the hook like you would on a spinner rig, definitely creates better hook holds. And the bait is just a 20 miller. This is a prototype bait called Fibre, but you could use Cell. They seem to be liking this a lot more than they do the Link at the moment. So the lighter coloured sort of baits seem to be working better. And I've drilled that out and put some 8mm cork in there, but only a small section of it. So this is not a wafter. It's not floating up off the lake bed. If I dropped it in a cup of water, it would sink, but it would sit round the same way every single time. So basically the arse of the bait is touching the lake bed. You think every other boiler you throw in is touching the lake bed. If you fish with a wafter and it's wobbling around above the hook, they can leave it. So by using the bottom bait straight out the bag, the fish absolutely love it. I'm throwing loads of bait out. They must be coming in and just woofing all that bait up. And this is no different from any of the others. And with a hook link there that's probably about 5 inches long, that 5-ounce cog lead, a straight pointed Longshank X hook, that is so spiteful. I am utterly convinced that I am hooking the fish the first time they pick it up. So if you are dropping rigs out from a boat anywhere, that is what I recommend. This is how much we love you. Yes.
Look at that.
A McFlurry that we put in the cooler that has stayed ice cream.
Amazing. Oh, thank you. How about that? That is so good. That's made by
Sorry,
that.
I broke my sugar fast. I had to.
Yeah.
It's nice getting off the lake, mate. It's nice, you know, just winding in and,
Yeah.
you know. So we're 48 hours in now, mate. Obviously, we've not been out to socialise at all because we're at opposite ends. I know you caught a few, but just refresh my memory. How many have you had now and what are the sizes?
I've had 4 and lost one, unfortunately.
Right, the loss was the head in the hands thing out there.
We won't go into too much detail about that one. I flipping 8 carp fishing at time. I mean, when I lost it, I was like, that was 40 plus. Big dark fish as well. Literally rolled at the net. I was pushing the net under it. It shook its head one last time. It was gone.
Yeah.
And that was my first bite as well.
You know, two of the 4 I've had, the hooks have come out in the net, and they've been absolutely nailed. I've looked where the hook was,
Yeah.
and they're absolutely nailed. I don't know if they're old fish or they've been caught quite a lot or what, but you know, them battles in the weed with braid on, you know, over a long distance.
It's just like loosening the hook
Yeah,
hold, isn't it?
yeah, definitely, definitely.
But yeah, I caught one just under £38 last night. Really nice sort of scaly linear.
Yeah.
And then that was middle of the night. I had a 31.5 pound common, first light this morning.
Nice fish.
Yeah, really nice fish. Very spawned out, very
Right.
empty. It was probably mid upper 30.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Then I had this super cool 36 pounder, real short, deep bodied,
saw that on the
wide
group.
thing.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah, he's a cool
They're
carp.
the ones I love them.
Yeah.
That last one I had this morning, the 38, mate. Elliot Gray would have just been like bursting into flames. Its fins are about that big. Look at these. Little tiny baby hands. Look. You know, it was one of the ones I wanted the type of fish that I wanted to catch when we come here. Do you know what I mean?
That was
It's
a mega carp, that was.
so cool that they're in here, and the others have all been like proper, like you say, massive mouths, big thick wrist of the tail, big fins, you know, and we're catching them at their worst at the moment, aren't they? Their lowest weights, they're probably the palest they're ever going to be.
Yeah.
What this is, I mean, we've got to come back here in November. I'm really sorry. Do you know what I mean? We've got to do a whole week in November.
I know, I'm pretty gutted about that.
And what about tactics-wise? I noticed you've got a tiger hanging off of that rod now. Are you catching on tigers?
Well, yes and no. So I went in to begin with double tiger nuts on all 3 rods, solely because I'd heard there was a few crayfish in here, and I just thought they were a bit more crayfish resistant. I was still baiting with plenty of boilies and just a couple of handfuls of tigers, but there was fish all over me yesterday morning, and it took a very long time to get a bite. And you caught 2 pretty quick in that time on
straight boiling. I haven't put a tiger in the lake yet.
Yeah, well,
I
there
haven't
you
thrown
go.
any in at all.
And I had that in my mind. I did eventually get a bite, sort of late morning yesterday. That's the one that fell off. But that sort of made me think maybe they were literally the last things left in the swim, the tiger nuts.
Yeah.
So I had a change around yesterday evening when I redid the rods, and I put an 18mm link with a tiger nut on top, tiny bit of cork in the boilie just to give it a little bit of buoyancy. I thought I've got the best of both worlds there. If they want boilies, there's a boilie on. If they want a tiger, there's a tiger nut on. And mate, that has been a massive game changer. Obviously I've had 4 bites since then, 1 at midnight last night, and 3 this morning.
Yeah.
So
All from different spots?
all from different spots, mate. I moved a rod yesterday. Even though I had carp over all 3 rods yesterday morning, there were so many showing down to the right. And I went down there and had a look in the boat, and I found a big area of coloured water in the corner.
Nice.
So I put a rod down there, and that's what I caught the one on last night, the linear, and then my first fish this morning. But unfortunately, both of them had kited into the margin and got me behind a branch or something. I was snagged. I had to go down there in the boat. As soon as I got parallel with them, they came free. They weren't like savagely snagged, but I thought, I don't want to keep doing that.
No.
You know, it's only a matter of time until one gets stuck, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'd baited the rod that I reeled in to put down there. I baited that yesterday afternoon. So at 5 o'clock this morning, I put the rig back on there, and within an hour, I caught a lovely 21, 22 pounder.
Right.
So it just proved that even though there's a lot of carp, I don't need to be down there.
It feels like there needs to be a swim on that point,
Definitely.
facing back this way.
Definitely.
And what do you think about down there? Do you think that needs a swim as well?
Well, it's funny because there's a big bush here to the left of my swim that you obviously can't really fish past, and they know it, mate.
Yeah.
Every evening and all through the night, they are literally showing here, the other side of the bush, where they know they're safe. I've had a walk up this margin, and you can see down under the trees, and there's these big bowls in the clay where they obviously sit under the trees. There's a lot of inaccessible water down there.
It definitely needs a lot of tree work. It's a lot of stuff that's got to come out to make this really, really. I mean, it's an amazing lake as it is now, but to make it a really spectacular fishery and the fish be out in open water and be eating bait and growing, there's no good stuck up under the trees, are they?
No.
And you don't want to be having to go out in the boat. If the weed wasn't here, it'd be nice to be able to land them off from the bank, wouldn't it? Because it's not snaggy out there, is it?
No.
You know. So yeah, it's Yeah, the potential of the place is ridiculous. It feels like there's a lot of fishing
Yeah,
here
well,
to me.
that's what I was going to say. It feels like there's loads of carp in here anyway. Half of the carp are sat under the trees, I'm sure of it.
I bet they are, mate. I bet they are. Well, I'm going to leave you to your lovely shady area. I'm going to go back to what is Alcatraz because there's no escape from the sun over there. Did you enjoy your McFlurry, by the way?
It was wonderful, mate.
Good.
Very much appreciated.
Good. It was nice getting off the lake for a bit, but I think it's time to get the rod back out.
Yeah, go and get them sorted. I'm sure there's more to come.
Definitely. It's been another absolute scorcher of a day and I've not missed the fishing whatsoever. It's been nice to go around and see Stokesy, see how he's getting on. He's definitely getting to grips with it as well. But the sun is now dropping in the sky. He's going to come out again in a minute and be a scorcher. But it's time to get the rods back out again. It's about 5 o'clock. Let's see what the evening brings. There we go. Nice casting. I hope that rod goes because it's going to be so easy to put back out again.
Right, so it's the second from last evening. And I have made a slight change tonight in that I've moved a rod down in this bay to the left. For the last 2 nights, there has been carp constantly showing down there. Some real good ones too. We had a look in these snags down to my left today and there's been a load of fish in there. Unfortunately, I can't really fish the snags. It's a little bit dangerous, but I've taken one right down the bay, over to the far margin in what I'm hoping will be an interception point. It was a little bit of a tough decision because all the spots I'm fishing have done bites and I've ended up moving the rod that I lost the real big one on yesterday morning for the sole reason that nothing has happened on that rod today. So that seemed like the best option. I have baited that spot though, so if nothing happens in the bay, I can always move the rig back out there tomorrow and fish my last night on that spot. It's the longest day of the year today, 21st of June. It's been a lovely day. Especially so compared to yesterday when we had all that rain. Washy's just cooked us the biggest steak I've ever seen in my life. It was flipping lovely, so cheers for that, mate. But yeah, as I say, we've got 2 nights left. There's some really big carp in this lake, quite a few of them too. They reckon 25 fish, over 25 kilo. If one of us could catch one of them, that would make our trip, without doubt. So fingers crossed.
It wasn't long before Tom was in again. This time it was an ancient mid-30 common.
It's definitely a 30 pound. Sorry Matt, I know you're trying to film. You just rest that in your little finger. Cheers mate.
Well, that was completely and utterly out of the blue. I had a disaster on the right hand rod in the dark, hooked up in a tree, but this is definitely a carp and it's sort of locked up now, it's away from the island, so it's time to get out in the boat. Still moving, better safe than sorry. Come on, mate. Come on. Come on. Get in that net. Get in. $23.5. Still very welcome though, and a lovely carp too. Well, completely out of the blue. I didn't really feel I was going to get another bite out there. I thought the right hand rod was going to do it. It didn't. And I'm baiting up probably only with about 50 to 100 baits. It's very warm now. I probably put too much bait in earlier on in the session. My left hand rod hasn't produced, I think probably because I put too much bait in. So it's a good lesson learned. If you come June, July, bring the bait with you, but be prepared to take it home again. Oh, nearly. Rocks in the edge. This needs to get taken over by a serious outfit.
No sooner were my rods in position and Stokesy was into another. But unfortunately the hidden woodwork was causing serious problems for both of us.
You have to go and get him, unfortunately. I don't know what he's stuck in. Going flipping mares here.
Embryo clearly has got a lot of work to do before we open in 2024, but we do love a challenge.
No wonder there's loads of carp down in that corner. I wasn't even anywhere near the snags, like. But there's a massive sunken log in the lake. Oh, for God's sake. I was just pulling, I could just see the end of that massive log just coming out of the lake. I was like, no. Right, so I'm just going to redo this rod, but rather than put it back down in that corner, I'm going to go and put it back under the trees on the far bank where I baited yesterday. I've just caused that much disturbance down in that corner. I doubt there's anything down there now. It's still quite early. I don't think it's even 7 o'clock yet, or it might just be 7. Ah, we could do a bit of luck. Luckily, we have got one in the sling, which we're about to get out. Well, there's still a chance. Might only be a slim chance, but at least all the rods are fishing. Oh. He's at a few tiger nuts. Look at that. Now that is a seriously cool common. Obviously it's well spawned out, but it weighed just under 35 pounds, 34.10, 34.12, something like that. Unfortunately though, this morning has been a little bit bittersweet, as this was one of 3 bites and it's the only one I've landed. I redid the rod after having this one in the early hours, and about an hour later, just as it was breaking light, I had another bite, managed to play it all the way back through the weed, only for it to hook pull 40 or 50 yards out. And then an hour or so ago, I had a bite on the left-hand rod, which unfortunately found a massive sunken tree down in the corner, and again I lost that one. So yeah, bit of a shame in that sense, but at least we got a mega one. So this is the rig that I've been using on this trip. It's the same setup that I've been using over Stone Acres this spring back home in England with great success, and it's actually really simple to tie. It's a size 2 curved shank X. Now the reason for such a strong heavy hook is we're fishing for large carp in a very weedy and snaggy lake. It's fished on a spinner which is attached to a 3-inch 25-pound boom section. It's crimped at each end, and the reason for that is I want separation from the lead, and I also believe that little stiff section makes it harder for the carp to deal with the rig. Now at the lead end, I've got a loop of 25-pound Supernatural that is probably just over 1 inch long. Now the reason for that is I don't want the stiff boom to be coming straight off the top of this large lead. If this is fished on a really firm or hard spot, that would mean there'd be some element of separation between the hook link itself and the lake bed. Whereas with that supple braided bit, it just ensures that everything is pinned to the deck. I've just put a lump of putty on the join as well between the two materials, just like I say, to make sure it's all kept pinned down. The lead is an 8-ounce cog lead. Now that may seem like a large lead, but I'm towing at long range to the far margin over a lot of weed, etc. And the last thing I need is for that lead to move. We've had swans that are swimming through the weed, you know, there's the odd bit of drifting weed about, and that 8-ounce lead is not moving. As for leader, I've just got a 15 to 20 foot length of 20 pound IQ2. Obviously it's a fluorocarbon. It's tied directly to the swivel which is inside the lead clip. It's super discreet, and that 20 pound IQ2 is actually incredibly strong. I've just got a couple of lumps of putty pinched on the line above the lead just to ensure that last 4 or 5 foot is pinned to the deck. The leader is then tied straight to 20 pound sub-braid mainline. It's very weedy, I'm fishing at long range, and braid is perfect for this kind of situation. The hook bait itself is just an 18mm link boilie, tipped with a tiger nut, and there is a small section of around about 12 to 14mm of 6mm cork inside there, just to basically counteract a bit of the weight of the rig itself.
Salmon veg. Got two.
How about that?
Two steaks.
Yeah.
Looks incredible.
You're very welcome, mate. Got to feed the crew, haven't we? Eh? They're doing all the hard work.
What's on the salmon? It looks amazing.
So it's just a bit of black pepper, a little bit of salt, a bit of dill. All done.
Good here, isn't it?
You know what? It's the bollocks here. I love it. We are coming to the end of our session on Carparina, and I'm sure I'll speak for all the other lads when I say we have absolutely loved it. Caught some amazing fish, some absolute bangers amongst them, and it shows the potential of this whole site. Obviously there is a lot to be done here. We're going to rebuild all of the platforms in the swim so they're bigger, lower. There'll be a boat in every swim, there'll be life jackets to go with it, and we're going to take away all the woodwork which is a problem, the overhangs and the stuff that's in the water. We're going to leave it lovely and lush and green, obviously, because it looks so beautiful, but there is a lot of places for the fish to hide, and we know from the work we've done at Gigantica, every time you do that, fish that haven't been caught for ages get caught. And the other lake's the same. Ball trap behind me, that at the moment has got one giant swim on it. We're going to put 5 separate swims, a double swim on the far bank admittedly, and then on the near bank we're going to turn that into a social area, put a lean-to in there, put a swim next to it and one over side, so you can be really social. That's going to be a lake exclusive lake, so 5 of you will book that lake. We already know there's a big head of fish in there, sort of up to maybe 40 pound, maybe a bit bigger than that. A lot of them sort of deep-bodied scaleless mirrors that grow really quickly, but again it's got loads of woodwork around the edges that we need to get rid of. That will happen over the course of this winter when the current season finishes. And the other 2 lakes further up on the site, the ones that Matt Pettit's been fishing and the other guys have had a little go with, they will be lake exclusive lakes as well. They'll only have 4 swims on each lake. They'll be tucked into the trees, big enough for a 2-man bivvy, but nice and intimate. Little walkway between them, so you've got one swim, your mate's got the other swim, your other 2 pals are opposite you. That's on the one we're going to call Orchid. And then the one up from that we're probably going to call Lily, that's going to have 4 swims all on one bank, again being quite social. So we'll make it as fishable as possible. And those top 2 lakes, both lakes, are going to need 30 to 50 fish. We might take some small ones out of Clover and move them across, but we definitely are going to buy some in a Royale strain, which are fantastic. But the ones we buy are only going to be big ones, so when you come next spring, they would have been put in over the winter. The fish that are in there at the moment are going to get fed by us all summer to bolster all of their weights as well, because they've literally had no attention whatsoever. So yeah, you've got to have 3 lake exclusive lakes, and basically this one you're going to book the swim that you want. You know, once you've booked that for whatever dates in the future, that is your swim. There's no draw. You'll have 3 doubles and a single on here, so 7 anglers a week on 17 acres, and then the others 5, 4 and 4. So a very exciting prospect for the future. I personally cannot wait to come back. I'm here in November to make a thinking tackle with Stokesy. James Armstrong's coming as well. I think Carl Smith's going to come with us as well. That's going to be a great trip. To see all the weed down and probably be able to cast from the bank will be a real gift. So yeah, exciting times for Embryo Europe.
So we're just going into the final evening of what has been a brilliant few days out here in Belgium. I'm not going to lie, it's going to be a little bit sad to pack up early tomorrow. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface, even though we've caught a few mega ones. But we've still got tonight. The rods are all out now. I feel like they're all on really good spots. So there is definitely still a chance of another bite or 2 or 3.
Stokes' evening was off to a flyer, but unfortunately it wasn't one of the 25 kilo fish we were after. Nevertheless, he got some quick snaps and sent him on his way.
Well, unfortunately that's it. We've got to pack up in a minute as we've got an early train today. It's a shame to be leaving as we've had a brilliant few days here on what is an incredibly beautiful lake. We've caught some great carp, and as I say, it is a shame to be leaving. I really don't want to go home, but I'll definitely be back in the future for one of them big ones.